Welcome to the Part 2 Purchasing clip. As you can see here in green, it gives me a summary of the detailed line items that is in merchandise. In the merchandise clip, I talk about how you set up which features or what is going to be showing in the front screen. Here I also it shows my sale price and the line items that are included in that sales price, whether they're taxable, if there's sales commission or counselor commission. I can also include cost, which would allow me to have a cost profit margin report. Over here is our tracking. These are the tracking for the children processes. On the main screen is the tracking for the parent process. More information about the tracking is in the tracking clip. More information about the merchandise that I was just in is in the merchandising clip. Other charges. Other charges are items that are non-taxable and non-commission, such as processing fees, cemetery fees, shipping. Discounts. I pre-set up two different types of discounts, merchandise and other. You can have any type of discount that you want. You can title it. Maybe it's a multi-discount. However you choose, whatever that title is, it will show up on the contract if you're using our auto contract generator as the label that you have chosen. Here's the amount of the discount, whether that discount reduces the sales tax, reduces sales commission, or reduces the counselor's commission. Now, the sales tax is two different types. You have your destination tax as well as you have your occupational tax. You pre-set up your cemeteries, and in those cemeteries you set up the state tax, any city or county tax. So when I go in to the itemize, I can see for this cemetery, it is in the state of Virginia. It has a 0.053 tax rate, which computes out to $131.97. Here's my occupational tax for my state, my city, and for my county. Computes all of those together, and you can see it matches the balance on the main screen. If I change the cemetery location, let's say I change it to Bunker Hill, notice the price went up. Why? When I go in here, it is located in the state of West Virginia, which is at a different tax rate. I'm going to set it back to the original cemetery we had for the contract because I just wanted to show you how that would work. Contract allowance. In our system, you have the ability to cancel contract, which is this button right over here, at any point in time. If, say, you had received a deposit or payments, then when you enter in a new contract, say you rewrote the contract, you can put that amount in contract allowance and it will be a direct deduction to your principal. Over here is your terms. You again set up these terms, default terms that you want. I have two terms that are set up. Also, the payment terms. I have the ability to put notes into my contract. I also have here a filing label. The filing label is to help you cross-reference where this contract is filed in your filing cabinet. It may be filed under the daughter's name, or let's say it is under the funeral home, but you file it under the original purchaser, who is maybe John Baker bought it through the funeral home, but instead of filing it under the funeral home, you file it under John Baker, even though the contract is written under the funeral home. So this is a filing label to help cross-reference, and it's just for ease of use. Now, there is financing. I could finance this contract. I can put the number of terms, months, interest rate. If you don't charge interest, you can have this default value to be 0. You can put your deposit amount. The payment cycle is when it's due each month. Deposit number. If you have a deposit amount, you want to put in a deposit number and a deposit date, which helps you with your reconciling. If you're going to print a receipt, you would want to put in a receipt number and then print that receipt. you can post that deposit when you're ready to post it. Now, locking terms. You don't lock the terms until you're ready to actually say print the coupons and you're done, because they may be changing this line item, or after the deposit maybe they've come in and given you an additional payment before this has been locked. Then at whatever point after the deposit or any payments, you're then ready to do any financing. All you have to do is put in the information. You can go into contract details and you can see how the payments are set up, which I don't have any payments set up. In fact, let's just do it so you can actually see it. Let's say I do 12 months at that 7.9, and notice the price went up because here's my principal and here's my interest. And let's say I'm going to have a deposit of $300, and I'm just going to make up a deposit number, and I'm going to do the deposit date, and I'm not going to worry about that. If I go now into contract details, you can see, oh, I haven't posted the deposit. Hold on a second. Let me post the deposit. Nice little security features built in there. See that? It doesn't allow you to do things out of step, out of sequence. So here I can see, here's my projected interest that I'm going to have on there. Here's my monthly payment. It ended up being even. If it didn't even out, then I would have a last monthly payment that may be a penny more or a penny less. However, the starting payment date is if, you know, they're due on the 1st of every month, but if for some reason we're not going to start on July the 1st, then I would put in that different payment amount. Okay. Once I'm ready to lock these terms, and then I'll lock them, and that way none of those terms can be changed. Okay. Then also over here in the contract details, it gives me my information about my sales commission. See, I can see that some payment went out. There's still some balancing remaining. I can go in here and look at my detail information. There's $49.50 still due, but out of that deposit, see, out of that deposit here, a payment was made to the salesman, both the salesmen on this, since they're splitting the commission out of that $300, because I also preset up what percentage of that deposit goes towards commission. And this is all in the sales commission clip. It will give you more information about that. So let's talk about some of the other basic features that we have here. With the payments in here, see, it has to be locked. Let me go ahead and lock it. Okay. I can also, here's my deposit that I can see. I can enter a new transaction. I can delete a transaction. Like a payment is wrong, I put it in there wrong, I can delete it. I can re-enter it. If I have a write-off, if I have a non-sufficient fund transaction, I want to print a receipt, I need to do an interest adjustment. I can do all these things within this payment screen. I can also here and give a brief history of what I have. Here it's showing me I have my deposit of $300, and it went towards the merchandise. M is for merchandise. If it had an O, it'd be saying it's applied towards the other. And see, I can see here that my balance here is my $400 difference, $100 for the discount and $300 for the deposit, which reduced that balance. Now I still have, notice the contract balance is $28.20.24, and the reason why, let's go in there, is because of the interest. This $117.84, if you took that $117.84 and you added it to that principal balance, you would get $28.20.24. Okay. You can also do early final payoffs, which is right here at this button. Now, you can also lock the order. Locking the order locks the merchandise items to where they cannot make any more changes. But until this is locked, it allows them to be able to make changes. Now, if you have locked the terms, it will give you warnings on changing those if you change pricing. Because you're going to have issues there, and it kind of lets you know what you can and what you can't do. You might end up having to cancel the contract and rewrite it if you've already locked the terms, locked the order, and you want to make changes. But we've already talked about that and how you do a contract allowance. Okay, let's talk about some more things. You have the ability to scan Here I have this icon right here that allows me to be able to scan documents. It's called a toggle button. It has two features. If there's no documents associated, it pulls this up and it lets me point to the scanned document or select the scanner I want to scan, and when I hit acquire image after I've selected the scanner, the scanner will kick on, it will scan the document and it'll automatically associate it. Or I can transfer the image, maybe you have it on a CD or some external device, you can be able to associate it. And let me go to one that I already have a scanned document on and show you how it works. The toggle button, now that there's a scanned document, will show the scanned document. Now you choose the format that you want the scanned documents in. In this one I have it set up as a PDF, so I'm using the free PDF Adobe Reader. But there is an issue if you use PDF. If you do not have the PDF license to be able to append and do other things that you want to alter the scanning document, then you're limited. I would recommend that you make it a TIFF format. It's a much bigger image, but you don't have that limitation. You do not have to purchase the PDF license, and you can still get the flexibility you want. It's totally your call what you want to do. Now, here is the photo option. This allows you to be able to take a photograph of the grave, and I'm going to slide this over because I want you to see this Microsoft document imaging software. This is free software, and if I had multiple photographs, it would show multiples over here on the side. So, and I could choose those multiple views, because you would probably want to take a picture of the front, the sides, and the back. Now I can zoom in at any point in time, and I can see the monument. Say, for example, after I delivered, the customer complains that there's a chip on the side. We put this in a TIFF format, which is a high resolution format. So you could zoom way in. You can see, is there really a chip here? Or did it happen maybe after it was delivered and it was done maybe by the cemetery when they were mowing? Okay, now you also have the ability to set up a co-purchaser. So let's go back to our original one, which was our John Baker, and let's set up a co-purchaser. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to say that Mrs. Sharon Baker is a co-purchaser, and she lists as the same address as her husband. I could put in her social security number and her birth date, and I'm going to associate that name as a co-purchaser. Now, when I pull it in, see it's saying Sharon Baker. If I have done the wrong person, I simply unassign, go back, and I put in the correct information. Now, if I use the automatic contract generator, which is these right here, when I print the contract, it will list both the purchaser and the co-purchaser's name, as well as it will list both their names for signatures on the contract, along with the counselor or the salesperson's signatures. Okay, next let's talk about payment coupons. This thing can print coupons for you, up to a year's worth of coupons if they're doing financing. Certificates, if you like to issue a certificate after it's been delivered that tells them maybe they have a 25 or a lifetime year warranty, just a nice little certificate. This thing can print that certificate as well. Let's see. Let's talk about, let's say that I have entered a contract in under the wrong person. Okay, let's go to this one right here. Okay. Now, in this one, here's the contract number under Sandra Roberts, but let's say it should have been entered under John Baker. So let's go back to John Baker. All I have to do is do this transfer here. I select the contract. I hit transfer contract, and now here is that contract under John Baker. But let's say, oops, that was a mistake. No problem. I go back to the person I want it under. I go back to my transfer contract. Pull it in, and now it's back under the right person. All right, now let's talk about another feature. One of the other problems is you need to know the names that are on the monuments and to be able to search by those. See this little button right here called Memorial Names? When I select that, it gives me the names that are on the monument. I know that Susan Jones and Tom Jones are both on the monument. This is also a wonderful sales tool because this tells me Susan has not passed away. I know when her husband, his birth date, his death date, interment date, and their wedding date. During any of this time, I can take the opportunity to send a card to her to let her know we're thinking about you during this time of your loss. These are sensitive dates for her. You'll be surprised how a simple note of kindness can become a wonderful sales tool. You also now know the military service. So if there's an emblem for the Army with the 17th Cavalry, if there's for the conflicts for Vietnam, Gulf War, Iraq, if there's additional information or bronze that can be put on her monument, this is an opportunity that you can be able to give that to her. Now, let's say later they add another name to the monument. Let's say it's a huge monument and they add another plaque to it. You can just simply add another name. If you want to edit any of the information, you can edit the military information or you put information in. You can remove a name if you put something in an error. What we have tried to do is to try to develop software that not only meets your specific needs right now, which is tracking all the information that you have. We're trying to think outside the box and think about ways you can utilize this information for sales tools and to help you to be able to generate more sales. Now, there's different ways to search. I can search by any ways. Let's go back here to the beginning. I can go here to the last name and I can search for Roberts, and it's going to pull up my Sandra Roberts. I can search by the first name. Go in here and search for John, and then now it's brought up my John Baker. It does not matter. It's any category you want to search by, you can search off of. Now, let's say I want to search by the memorial name. Okay, so let's go in here and search by memorial name. It's going to show me all the names I have in there, the contract number, their death date, and their interment date. So if I want to go to the contract that the monument for Sergeant Jones was, I just select it, and there it goes. It pulls it up for me. Here's that contract. Now, I can also go by a specific name. I can go by a contract number. In fact, let's do this. Let's show all the contracts because we were just at one. And let's do by a specific contract. So I can go in here and I can select the contract number and I can go to just that contract. Notice here at the bottom it's only showing me that one contract. So let's do show all contracts. Now it's showing me all the contracts again. Another way I can do is by a specific name. So this is the name of the purchasers. So I can go here to Shirley Test and it will pull up every contract under the name Shirley Test. Now I want to take this moment to let you know that what you're viewing is the full administrative version. This version has all the power to do everything. There's no restrictions. Once the administrative version is complete, then we will start creating the client versions. The client versions are the versions that may be used by a counselor or a salesperson, not by the administrative office. Therefore, the types of information is locked. There's some things that they can't view. There are some things they can't change. It just gives them limited viewing. So just keep that in mind as you're viewing this. And again, I look forward to all your comments. Thank you so much for watching.